All right. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Neville Goddard podcast. My name is Mr. 2020. And today we're going to explore you can look for signs or you can feel it real, because you can't do both at the same time. The important thing is, and we're going to nail this in some cool ways today, and we're going to invite you to dreamdrivenday.com, of course, right? Because here's what matters most, guys. The evidence of the senses, you can only notice so much. The only thing you can notice is an echo. Remember, you are what leads. And I'm going to share a little bit of a personal story. There's more to it. But I'm telling you, just out of the blue, I got moved around the world. And that gave birth to this mission. And this is what I want you to remember. Out of the blue, your job is to remember you're the sunshine. Your job is to spread your wings. Your job is to allow yourself to be carried by the invisible currents. Your job is to feel it real. And we live in a world that's dominated by looking for signs, looking for evidence, hoping. Instead of hoping, we get to lead. Have a lovely day. Let's dive in. So you can look for signs or you can feel it real. You can look for signs or you can feel it real. You can look for signs or you can feel it real. We're diving in. Gosh, got a great email this morning. And a couple little bits I'm going to pull for this. Ready? I'm not seeing results. It feels like a struggle, and I want the feeling of ease and flow. I so get it. Because you can look for signs, you can feel it real. You can look for signs, you can feel it real. I want the feeling of ease and flow. I'm not seeing results. By the way, I let the cat out of the bag. But let's talk about the limitations of the senses and why this is a good thing. Because your eyes are about 4 inches apart. Just notice this. And you can't see around corners and you can't see that far. It's a little foggy out right now. We actually have a lesson in Dream Driven Day called The Fog. And we really dive into the whole thing of you can look for signs or you can feel it real. Because the evidence of the senses doesn't matter. The evidence of the senses is just an echo. I can't see Victoria right now. I can't see my car or my puppies, but I can assure you I am a loving husband, loving teacher, and loving puppy dad. Because I can look for signs or I can feel it real. And with hearing, I can only hear so far as well. I've got a little bit of damage in my right eardrum, apparently. I can't hear my mother-in-law talk, which is nice. See, you can only hear so much, too. I'm told dogs can hear a much more varied frequency range than we can. I find that fascinating. You can look for signs or you can feel it real. So your eyes are about 4 inches apart. You really can't see in the dark. God, things get really interesting when you scuba dive. You lose colors the deeper you go down. You can look for signs. You can feel it real. You can only hear so much. If your eyes are 4 inches apart, your ears are probably 7, maybe 8. I've got a pretty big head. I can only hear so much. I can hear a lot more on the inside than I can on the outside, by the way. And you can look for signs or you can feel it real. By the way, this is a crass commercial. Inviting you to Dream Driven Day. We begin this Dream Driven Day. We're doing it 3 times this year. For those who want to put it off and wait, imagine you're doing it later. You probably won't, because when you imagine later, that's what happens. But this Dream Driven Day begins in 13 days, something like that. Monday, February 6, 2023. That's when the first day of Dream Driven Day begins. 3 live group calls, private Facebook group. You can look for signs or you can feel it real. And this is where not only people find friends and family, it's also where they get momentum. Because if you're looking for signs, you can't feel it real. And I want you to own your day, so you own your destiny. I want you to have daily wins. We developed the Joseph Goddard method as a hack into this. But a 30-day program is massive, guys, because here's the deal. You can look for signs or you can feel it real. So there's this thing called ownership. And with ownership, Everything changes. And with ownership, you get to acknowledge, you know what, my eyes can only see so much. There's so much more out there. With my ears, I can only hear so much. There's so much more out there. I can hear my mother's voice right now, by the way. Not physically, because I'm not talking to her right now. I'm talking to you. But I can hear her voice imaginally. And I can imagine her telling me things that she never told me. Lovely things. My mom told me a lot of lovely things. But a couple words whispered to me when I was 12 could have made all the difference. You see, I can feel it real. I can also look for signs. I mean, how are the sales going today? Hey, what's Victoria up to right now? Hey, you realize almost everything, almost all the time, is beyond your sensory capacities. With this big wide world we live in, with people right around the corner, you can't see around corners. There's no way you can tell what's going on physically. The only thing you know about is the shadow physically, because your eyes, they just notice shadows. Your hearing only notices echoes. You lead. This is also why, and I love this is in the email, always be investing. I am a massive fan of investment. I am a massive fan of stretching because you can look for signs, you can feel it real. And anytime you're going on the evidence of the senses, it is so tempting to go, nothing is happening. Given the fact that you can notice almost nothing, it's impossible to say nothing is happening based on the evidence of the senses. Because we notice time and time again, people quit or people don't dive deeper when it's time to dive deeper, to play more, to take off a bigger chunk. And let me tell you what I mean by that. A bigger chunk is a different way. A bigger chunk. When I moved to Australia, God, immigration and all that stuff, it would have looked good if I came here and got a job. And there was no way I was going to get a job. I came here to build an empire, to make a difference. And I was making a difference before, and I had a business in the U.S. It was doing all right. But I came here to scale up, to do something radically different with my life. And that's the thing, because when you draw a line in the sand, you realize, right now, I don't have any sand around, but I can imagine sand. You can look for signs, or you can feel it real. And when it comes to feeling it real, it matters what you see in imagination. Are you feeling what implies your wish is already fulfilled, so that you can see, so that you can hear, so that you can imaginally touch? Because the last one, I'm like 180 centimeters roughly, like just under 6 foot tall, from toes to tops. And physically, I can only touch so much. But I can give you a hug. Anybody who listens to me gets the love that I'm sharing. And when I say, hey, I'm imagining you in the garden, I am. God, we've had some visits from lovely people over the years. We had 2 lovelies here not too long ago. They came in from Germany. How cool is that, to get a text saying, hey, we're in town, can we stop by? Imagine my thrill. Because she told me before, hey, we're going to come over. I said, all right. So I imagined them in the garden. I forget all about it. I get busy with my day because I'm not looking for a sign to see if they're coming. Lovely lovebirds. Why would I look for a sign to see if they're coming? I've already imagined them here. I can feel it real. And this is where that whole thing, the attitude of Abdullah, this is where that whole thing of, if you own your day, you own your destiny. And this is that crass commercial for DreamDrivenDay.com. We do begin February the 6th, 2023. That's a Monday. That Monday, are you going to get an email in your inbox saying, hey, here's your first lesson. Let's dive in. Go watch the video. Enjoy the audio. There's a little bit you can read along with, too. And why not join us in the Facebook group, our own little private Facebook group? One of the things that I notice, usually somewhere between a third and a half of the members are people that have done it before. Because they get it. All the time I'm discovering new shit about what I teach. And I've got 7 new little bits that I can't wait to share, because This to me is what it's all about. Peeling away layers of the onion. See, you're not a potato. You're more like an onion. A potato is the same through and through. You're more like an onion. Fascinating layers. The truth about you that sets you free has fascinating layers to it. And that's why we do what we do, share what we share, and people get the results that they get. There's proof in the pudding. Go to the website, dreamdrivenday.com. Or wait. Yeah, we're going to do it 2 other times this year. You could wait. That's a good idea, ain't it? I wouldn't wait. dreamdrivenday.com. Because you can look for signs or you can feel it real. And your senses are very limited. Right? Facts overflow the world. God, according to the facts, I should be crippled or dead by now. Decades ago. Aren't you glad I ignored them? The experts. Aren't you glad I ignored the physical signs, You can look for signs or you can feel it real. God, there's so many times where I looked and it seemed like nothing was changing. And then a group of Forex traders said, hey, we're going to buy your products and we're going to fly you around the world. You see, I was stuck. I'm going to go personal here. I wasn't planning on this. But I had this crazy idea because I was in a stuck place. I wanted to build my business to the next level. I was also stuck when it came to relationships. So I put up a little offer for this much money for, I don't know, it's $100. I'll make a custom little recording just for you. We'll email back and forth a couple times and I'll make a little recording. My only thing is I want to be able to sell it to other people as well, so we'll keep it anonymized. And so I put this up on the internet. And a fellow from Melbourne, Australia, Mikey, found me. He said, I'll do one of these. I said, all right. He shared it with his friend Leanne, who emailed me and said, I want one of these too. They shared it with somebody else, a third person who I'm not going to name. Yeah, I will. They shared it with somebody named Victoria. Meanwhile, they were all members of a Forex trading group, and they flew me over. They said, hey, this guy's shit's good. Let's have him come down and train with us for 2 weeks. I stayed for 3. Then I moved around the world to be with her. See, I was looking for signs that my business was changing. I wasn't getting them. Until one day I got an offer. I had a couple product orders. Then I had an offer, and I thought, well, I'll go. We'll see what happens. Right? It gives me a gig flying around the world that's going to give me some street cred. You can look for signs or you can feel it real. That all came out of the blue. This is what I want you to remember. You're the sunshine. You're above the clouds. And when you try to see through the clouds, you can't see anything. That's the fog. But on the other hand, when you're the sunshine, you're above the clouds, you shine through the clouds, and even when you can't see anything happening, allow the warmth of your feeling it real to carry and lift you. My name is Mr. 2020. This stuff has moved me around the world. And it moved me around the world when I had no idea it was moving me around the world. That's the cool thing. There's more to that story, but that's all I got today. Because you can look for signs, or you can feel it real, and you can join us in dreamdrivenday.com. See ya.